Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. We have a quick question here from the previous class. This is with reference to the elements of right living. We have two things about action. We have this attitude of giving versus taking. Suppose a team of people in office, I notice that one person does most of the work and more work is given to that person, while others just pretend to work and dump their work also on that one person. Is it not leading to exploit and misuse that one person who has this attitude of giving? What should be the attitude of that one person in this kind of scenario? How do we avoid exploit by others in this action with attitude of giving? Now, what he is asking is, if I go on giving and people will go on taking, I don't want that to happen. This is the typical expression of mind, where you want to give, but I will give only to this extent. After that, I will not give. After that, I have to take. Then what is that, sir? I take. After taking for a point of time, I will give back. Give and take policy, no, we'll say immediately. Life is what, sir? Give and take. I should give, you should give. I should give, you should give. Only then the equation is correct. If you are a truly giving person, you would not bother whether others are, taking from you. I want to contribute. I am getting more and more opportunity to contribute. So more work being dumped on me. If I am a giver, I would be rejoicing. Why? I'm getting an opportunity to give. If I have not given that opportunity, then my desire to give will not feel satisfied, satiated. Give. Somehow don't try to circumvent. Because this is how that mind will start projecting things for manipulation. Now, I will take a stand that I am a giver. I am a genuine giver. But the problem is what? That giving good value of mine is being exploited by others. Just to avoid that exploitation by others, I am not going to be giving now. Vedanta says, don't try that, please. Develop that attitude of giving. Even if it means people are exploiting you, give. Doesn't matter. Give. Give. You will be rewarded richly. It is impossible in the world that a giver is left out. It is against the law. Like they say in English, a stone that is fit for the wall will never be found on the way. That's a law. If the stone is fit, if your organization were to be considering to sack, there are 10 fellows working in the company, 5 fellows has to be sacked. Who will be the first one in that list? Or if the company were to be thinking, don't think the board of directors and others in the organization are oblivious to this fact. that he is the only fellow who is working, rest are all not working. And I suppose you are all aware of this management theory, 80-20 equation. Wherever you go, there is 80-20 equation. If there are 10 fellows in the organization, only 2 fellows do the work. Rest of the 8 don't do that work. Then you can't say that, sir, why don't we remove that 8? For this 2 to work, that 8 is needed. Without that 8, this 2 cannot work. So it balances by itself, remember. So under the pretense that how am I to handle the situation? What am I to do in this scenario? You don't have to do anything. Continue giving. Continue giving. Keep continuing. Keep continuing. You may not get the result immediately. You may not get the returns immediately. But one thing for sure, you will be paid. These things works exactly like systematic investment plan. Life works like that. Keep investing little by little by little. Deposit, deposit, deposit. For the first 3-4 years, you won't see anything. No returns. Wait. Keep paying your, they say that installments. Keep paying that. Keep paying it. Keep paying. Keep paying. Suddenly you would see from 20th year to 22nd year, that 2 years, it doubles. Now that 2 years doubling will happen only after 20. That doubling will not happen in the first year. You see, that is how it works. Same way, this attitude of giving, you will get the dividends. But if you say that for the dividend I'm going to do it, you will not get it. That is the law. You see, you can't, throw dust in the eyes of the law, please. It won't work. So, what I have to do in the scenario where somebody is exploiting somebody, what of it to you? Why are you getting involved? Because that's the scenario he is giving here. The questionnaire scenario is, I am standing here, I am seeing one fellow is given all the job. If you are so concerned, you go and shoulder that job from him. That you will not do. See, now you would want what? I wanted to instruct these people not to dump the job on him. If you are so concerned about him, lend your shoulder. That is giving from your side. With the understanding what? If you are a true giver, it doesn't make a difference. For you, it will not make a difference if you are a giver. The other party may feel like that. That is, their misunderstanding, that is their, perception. But as far as you are concerned, you have to understand the law that if you are a giver, you would succeed peacefully. If you are a taker, you may succeed. No guarantee. You may succeed painfully, but that is guaranteed. Now you take a call in your life, whether you want to build the attitude of giving or you want to build the attitude of taking. I repeat, if you are working in the attitude of giving, contributing, you will succeed. Sooner or later, you will succeed. But the journey is peaceful. If you are working with the attitude of taking, then you will meet pain. You may succeed, you may not succeed. Even if you succeed, that success comes with tremendous pain. I mean, stress. So much of stress and strain, so much of agitation, so much of disturbance. Give, give, give. That's what Victor Hugo says. Life is to give, not to take. So keep giving that. Develop that attitude of giving. Then he says, at the level of emotions, what you have to do, sir? He says, develop the attitude of love. identification. At the level of intellect, seek the knowledge of the self. These three, when you do, you will get success. You would grow in life. Now what he is doing is, go back to the basic idea. We did see that every human is inner personality of every human consists of two things: mind, intellect. Mind is manas, intellect is buddhi. Now these two things are nothing but thoughts. That thoughts were classified based on quality three things. There are three quality thoughts that you can entertain. Those three qualities is what is referred in Vedanta as Sattvigam, Rajasam, Tamasam. It's referred as Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. In the course of conversation, we use Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, we say. But actual word is this: Sattvigam, Rajasam, Tamasam. Now, Sattvigam means the highest quality of thought, best quality, A grade. Rajasam, mediocrity. Tamasam, lowest, base. So we have this three qualities are there. The thoughts that you are entertaining, which is classified in terms of nature, indiscriminate, discriminate, mind and intellect. That is one style of analysis. There's another way of analyzing the same thing is in terms of the texture. What sort of a texture your thoughts have. Based on that, we classify them into three brackets. Tamas, low, this Rajas, better, Sattva, the best. So we see these three qualities. We just see the board. You're all getting it? I suppose you're all seeing that. Tamas means a state where, now I am using the word mind. Whenever I am using the word mind, right now you take it as collective, mind and intellect put together. So I don't have to keep repeating it, mind and intellect, mind and intellect, mind and intellect. Whenever I say mind, now the term mind is collective usage for mind and intellect. Your mind is in a particular state where it is inactive and indifferent. That is tamas, a state of inaction. State of inaction in the sense, state of lethargy, state of inertia. One. State of inertia, lethargy, in the sense, literally you can take it as no action, inertia. Another one is, there is a resistance to action. That's the state of tamas. So when we say in tamas, you are in an inactive state, means there is a lot of resistance to action you have mentally. Mentally resist. I don't want to do it. Typical example we give is, you wake up in the morning, but you continue to laze in the bed for 5 minutes. Why? You don't feel like getting up. You see, now you had woken up. It's not that you are still sleeping. No, you had woken up. After waking up, you continue to lie down. Why? You don't feel like going and brushing. You see, that sort of a state is called as inactive, tamas, a state of inertia, lot of resistance to action. Most of the time we will experience that also when in the house or in the office, when somebody says, why don't you finish this work also and do? Why? We ask the question, why I should do? Why? When you are asking the question, why, your focus is where? it appears like as though you are inquiring to know the reason for you to do the action. But factually, what is it, sir? The why is stemming out of what? I don't want to do it. There is a resistance. Finish the job and go. You tell the person. He says, what? I'll do it tomorrow. Why? I will not do. If I have to do after 5 o'clock, if I have to work up after 5 o'clock, pay me more. This is not my job. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I have to do. So there has to be a tremendous force and pressure from external to push you to action. That is called inactive state, where your whole personality is not moving, refusing to move. Tamas. And you are indifferent to the consequences. When we say that you are inactive with reference to the action and you are indifferent towards the consequences of it, I don't care. You see, that is called a typical expression of tamas, where your mind is inactive, resisting to action, and indifferent to the consequences of that. Tamas. Then rajas means a state where you are active. There's no problem with reference to action, but there is a lot of agitation associated with that action. There's a lot of stress. There is a lot of strain in doing the action. That is called rajasic state. Sattva is where you are dynamically performing action. At the same time, you are equanimous. Sattva is a state where you are active but peaceful, balanced, equanimous. In Rajas, you are active, you are not dynamic, you are active. There's a lot of effort in action, strainful performance of action. Why? Because mind is agitated. Tamas is a state where so much of agitation is there in the mind, it resists the action itself. And you say, I don't care whatever happens. Let us see that later. When the problem comes, we'll face it. Right now, I don't want to. I refuse to do anything. That is called tamas. So every human's mind goes through these three states: sattva, rajas, tamas. Every mind is a combination of these three. That is a beauty. It is like every coffee is made up of decoction, milk, sugar. But no two coffees are same. They're all different coffees are there. Why, sir? Because of the permutation combination. You see, Guju's house you go, their coffee is sweet. You can't make out the difference between payasam and coffee. South Indian's house you go, bitter. More decoction, little milk, no sugar, almost. And you go to Punjabi's house and ask him to prepare coffee, you can't make out. It's so milky, it is. There are, China tea. In Tamil Nadu, they call it as, China tea, they say. Enna China tea, there is no, decoction at all in that. Hardly you can see any decoction there. That's different ways of preparing. Coffees are there, but all are coffee. Similarly, the heterogeneous variety we see in human is because of the permutation combination of these three gunas: sattva, rajas, tamas. And every moment in your life, you go through these three phases. Your mind is either in the state of sattva, rajas, or tamas. So point number one, you have to remember in this three gunas is, every human is made up of these three gunas. So long as there are thoughts in you, that thought will have quality. Can you escape? Every thought that you are entertaining has a quality along with it. You can never have a thought without any quality. It will be classified either A, B, C. You take it like that. It doesn't matter. If you can't remember sattva, rajas, tamas, take it as A, B, C. But as long as mind exists, thoughts exist, mind exists, sattva, rajas, tamas also will exist. Number one. Number two, you got to remember is, the variety that we are seeing is because of the permutation combination. So everybody has got sattva, rajas, tamas, but so much of variations we are seeing is because of the combination of the three. These 2 points you got to remember first. Then comes the course of life. What is the direction? Your life should take a course. It should take a particular direction. No. What sort of a direction your life will be taking now? Wherever you are, whatever be the percentage of sattva, rajas, tamas in you, your life should be directed towards moving from tamas to rajas, from rajas to sattva. That should be the direction. If your life were to be moving in the opposite direction, from sattva to rajas to tamas, that is called devolution. You are deteriorating. Spiritual deterioration, when we say, what we are meaning is, the sattva is compromised, rajas is there, and tamas is increasing. When tamasic people are increasing more, there is deterioration. Tamasic state is promoted in you, you are deteriorating. The same thing were to be happening in terms of the society also. How many people are there tamasic? How many people are there rajasic? How many people are there sattvic in the society at any given point of time will define the spiritual status of that particular society. So, the life course, if you say that our vision in life is to achieve that infinite happiness, liberation, freedom, if that is what you are aiming, then your movement has to be from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva. Your movement has to be towards sattva more and more. Then Vedanta gives the fourth point. This is the third point. I may remember to recollect, I may not remember. So don't worry about it, okay? So first 2 points I remember to recollect. Now I have given the third point. Now the fourth dimension Vedanta says is, these three gunas to be alive and sustain, it needs the support of other two gunas. Any one of these gunas to stay alive, it needs the presence of the other two. It is like a tripod. If one leg goes, it topples and breaks. That's it. You can't use it. Same way, every human mind, for it to survive, your mind to exist, it needs the support of other two for any one of the guna to exist. So right now, whatever the proportion you have, you say that I am evolving, I am getting better spiritually, I am spiritually growing, means you are getting more and more sattva in you. Sattvic quality is increasing in you. you're becoming more and more mature, you're becoming more and more objective, you're becoming more and more peaceful, you're becoming more and more dynamic, you're dynamically peaceful. Whatever words you want to use, you use. Essentially, what it means is you are growing spiritual means your sattvic content, sattvic quality should increase. More of sattva increases in you, more you are growing spiritual. Less of sattva means what? When sattva drops means either rajas or tamas has increased in the percentage. That is called devolution. Complete chaos means tamas is increasing. More and more tamas. Now on the tree, most of us will be falling into the category of rajas, etc. Most of us will be saying, I'm a rajasic person, sir. Say, what? I'm a very active person, sir. But only thing is what? The moment I start activity, I get agitated. The moment I go to office, I get stress. So long as no office, no stress. That's why a lot of people go for pre-retirement. The age of 45 itself, the fellow says, I want to retire. He cannot retire. Why? So much of money is not accumulated yet. If the money is accumulated, you will say, I will retire. The moment you start the work, there is stress. This is called rajasic state. Rajas means activity, you are active, but at the same time you are disturbed. More the action, more the disturbance. More the action, more the disturbance. More the action, more the disturbance. Imagine that is what is happening. Over a period of time, what will happen? I'm increasing my level of activities. As I'm increasing my level of activities, my agitation is also increasing. And invariably, how that increase happens is, if my level of activities were to increase in arithmetic progression, level of stress increases by geometric progression. More action, more agitation, more agitation, more agitation, more agitation. How much of agitation you can handle? You cannot handle beyond a point. Every one of us have got our own threshold. Beyond that, I can't manage. So once I hit the ceiling, what happens? I drop action. I stop the action. Because equation is very simple. I am getting agitated only if I am doing action. That is very clear from my own experience. I don't need somebody to come and teach me that. Right? My experience is what? More action, more agitation. I don't want agitation. What I have to do? Stop action. Equation is very clear. This is how you slip into tamas. Now you are inactive. Inactive is a state of what? Resistance to action is what is that state? Go back to the definition. Now you keep on promoting rajas. What will happen over a period of time? You will not be staying in rajas. You will slip to tamas. So when you are promoting rajas, you are factually promoting what? You are potentially creating a possibility to slip into tamas. Now you go back. Thank God it's Friday. Why? From where that idea came? Thank God it's Friday. Weekend. Appa. Why? No work. Why no work? From Monday onwards, what was happening? Activity started. Once activity started, what had happened? Agitation increased. By Friday, what has happened, sir? Tremendously agitated. What do you do? Weekend. Means what? Ending your action. No action. You feel relieved. Once you're relieved, you can't stay in that also for a longer period of time. Why? Because of the pressure of your desires will not allow you to stay in that state of tamas for a longer period of time. So what it will do, sir? Now it will start putting pressure in you to move. Now where are you? Rajas. So how do you account human life, sir? Rajas to tamas, tamas to rajas, rajas to tamas, tamas to rajas. Whole life of a human being is only these two things. Vedanta says, I will give you a methodology through which you can move from rajas to sattva instead of promoting rajas and slipping back to tamas. If you work in promotion of sattva, that is called spiritual. When you are not doing that, you are promoting your devolution, means you are slipping back to tamas, you are falling lower. Now, what is interesting is a person will start working like this. He says, okay, correct, Ishwaran, I agree with you. Now I will start working on promoting my sattva. I'll start working. I build my sattva from 25% to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 80, 85, 90, 95, 97, 98, 99. Somewhere down the line, what will happen, sir? 100% sattva. Right? Now, that 99 to 100, that jump, when a person goes through, that leap when you take from 99% of sattva to 100% sattva, Vedanta says, by default, the gunas cannot exist without the support of the other guna. Now in this person, what has happened, sir? He has worked and brought out, deleted rajas and tamas, only sattva exists in him. When only sattva existing, what will happen to that personality? Vedanta says, this person cannot be categorized into the other. He has to be put in a different category called enlightened, self-realized, known as Guna Atita. The mission of spirituality is to reach that state of Guna Atita, means transcendence of the gunas. It is fascinating to read our scriptures. And then they put one bombshell. If this is true, if any guna can be brought to 100%, you go to transcendence. It is not only 100% sattva alone will take you to the transcendence of guna, guna atita. You bring to 100% rajas, guna atita. You bring to 100% tamas, guna atita. That is why we find very peculiar these guys. Mirabai, who has been thinking of Krishna all the time, she also gets moksha. And Hiranyakashipu, who has been hating to the core, he goes to the extent of torturing his own son, who is a child actually. Continuous torture. What sort of a torture he gives to his son? Why? All this is only because of what? Hatred to God. Mirabai, who loved God, gets moksha. Understandable. Look at these fellows. They say, Hiranyakashipu, who hated God, also gets that same moksha. Now, how can you get seat for both? A fellow who got 100 out of 100, gold medal. And the fellow who got 0, also gold medal now. Where is justice? Where is fairness? But very interesting, these people. They say, doesn't matter, man. Why? The law is same for everybody. What does it say? the gunas, if it brought to 100% moksha. But the problem for humanity is what, sir? You cannot promote rajas 100%. You cannot promote tamas 100%. That's why in the Narada Bhakti Sutra, he calls this as Virodha Bhakti. There are various forms of bhakti he explains. In that he says there is one bhakti type called as Virodha Bhakti, where you treat God as your enemy. That is what Hiranyakashipu did. Ravana did. He said, he is my enemy. 100%. Come what may. Anything can happen. I will not. But you see, that sort of a state is not possible for an ordinary human, because that much of agitation you cannot take. That path is so disturbing and so agitating. Therefore, it is not recommended for anyone. So, which is the path is safe, possible for a human to pursue, is movement towards sattva. That is why all spiritual disciplines we have only promotion of sattva. Even though, theoretically speaking, any guna you take to 100%, you get realization, you get enlightenment. But it is not practically possible. So the rule is what, sir? Every mind, every human is a combination of three. Then I said, the variations we are seeing is because of the permutation combination. If there's three different things are there, then what am I supposed to do, sir? What we are supposed to do is promote sattva instead of promoting rajas and tamas. If I keep on promoting sattva, what will happen? It will take you to trans-sattva. You will transcend the gunas. You reach to that state of enlightenment. Now we say, okay, now I have to do the promotion. Means, how does it exist? How do they function actually, sir? You see here, you will see in the board you see, there's a very interesting phenomenon these people recognized. It's a fascinating research. They found the way in which the three gunas manifest has a pattern, has a cycle. Whatever the percentage of sattva guna that you have manifests early hours of the morning, between 4 to 6. As a rule, whatever the percent, if you have 40%, that 40% will surface. This, if you have 20, 20 will surface. If you have 80, 80 will surface. Whatever be the percentage of sattva you have, surfaces in the mind. That is in the topmost layer of your mind. Sattva guna, early hours of the morning. Then this rajoguna manifests during the day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm just giving it an average. Okay, don't take it as literally 6 o'clock. It will switch off and switch on. It's not like electricity, switches off and switches on. This line goes and that line comes like that. It doesn't work that way, please. It's just a calculation for us to understand. During the day, rajas takes up. And once the sundown happens, tamas starts picking up. From 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Again, don't take it literally 2 a.m. It's not like that. Slowly this will go down, that will come up. Similarly, slowly that will go down, this will come up. Now, that is how that things work, how they express. Now, how do you know whether your sattva guna is surfaced in the mind? Is where you have this one. Your intellect in the early hours of the morning, a contemplative in nature. And mind is peaceful, relatively speaking at least. You can see that during the morning, early morning you wake up, there is a peculiar peace is there. Same way, night 12 o'clock also there is peace. But there is a distinct character to the two silence. The silence of that midnight, 12 o'clock is different from the silence of 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So you have to observe and see it. When you observe, you would be able to recognize it. Same way, Rajas, you are in a Rajasic state. How do you know, sir? You can see intellect is more confused. There's a lot of confusion, lot of doubt. And mind is preoccupied with so many things. As you are doing something, your mind will pitch up something else. As you are doing this, something else will come up. As you are doing that, something else will come up. That preoccupation is the typical characteristics of Rajas, where intellectually you are confused, mentally you are preoccupied. Tamas means your intellect is dull, if at all it thinks perversion, perverted thinking. Mind is voracious and overpowering. The base instincts starts taking over the personality. All indulgences begins in the night. That's why we say, even a talented drunkard, you give him 4 o'clock, a peg to drink. He says, no, I'll have it after sundown. Says, what does it say? This is what it means. Where a person is not really keen on drinking, even in the early morning, is averse to all those things. He is more objective in the morning. But in the night, what happens there is instincts take over. During the daytime, what is it, sir? Mind is highly disturbed. Now, these are the three things we see. This is with reference to the individual. Every individual has the three gunas. Okay. Now I am getting into a very, very, highly controversial idea. Right. I can't go into the details, because if I were to take this idea and explain and expound, it will become too heavy at this stage. Okay. We'll do that in some other time. Only the idea, not the practice, please. Idea I'm talking about. Because the moment I utter enough, so far I haven't seen much of comments in the YouTube. There's a good chance now I will hear a lot. These three gunas, I told you already, as long as there is mind, as long as there is thought, there will be quality. Thought textures will be having this sort of qualities. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas will exist. Now, if this is with reference to every individual, they had to give a plan or a program of how to live collectively. Now, collectively, if we have to give anything, you cannot do something collectively without classification. Is it not? The classification has to be done based on what? Based on what I want to do. If I'm going to be discussing in terms of male, female, I'm going to introduce something to the society which is going to be done based on male and female. Immediately I have to ask in the demographically, how many males are there how many females are there? If I'm going to be introducing education, then I have to think in terms of how many layers are there in terms of education. Based on education wise, we classify people. Total illiteracy, those who can read and write, and then those who have completed schooling, then those who have completed this, then people completed that. We classify, no? Then we classify people based on their economic status. Without classification, is it ever possible for us to provide any system, any advice? Now, if I have to teach dharma, right, we have to classify. Without classification, it is not possible for us to give dharma to everybody. No way it is possible. Now, what is the agenda of these people? The agenda of these guys is you have to move towards sattva. Correct? Everyone, wherever you are, agenda is everybody should be moving towards sattva. Now, all of us know there is so much of variation possibilities in terms of the percentage. Correct? I have to teach in a school, let's say, imagine there is a school where one classroom, one teacher, from first standard to PhD. All the students will sit in the same class. All the students will hear the same teaching. What will happen? Can we teach? It is not possible. I can't teach. I have to classify them. First standard students. Then there is second standard students. Then we have state syllabus. Then you have CBSE. Then you have ICICA. And then you have this, IB. Whatever be the syllabus, I don't care. Even in IB, there is first standard, second standard, third standard, fourth standard. In state also, there is first standard, second standard, third standard, fourth standard, without which it is not possible to teach. Now, if I have to guide people to work in terms of their growth, evolution, the growth has to happen from where they are. Correct? I have to move from where I am today. Now, you can't have the same equation for everybody, nor can you keep giving to everyone individually. Correct? Can you give like that? That is also not possible. Now, you can't say every student needs to be given individual attention. Therefore, what I are going to do, sir? One teacher, one student equation. That is not possible. But what we do, sir? We keep 35 students in one class and one teacher manages the 35 students. In the 35 students also, there are classifications, no? Slow learners are there. And there are so bright students are there. It is not possible for us to give guidance without classification. Now, they found this. They said, if every human has the three gunas in them, you can't escape. They said, there has to be some broad classification. You can't go through every individual, but at the same time, you can't have no brackets, no classification. There has to be some broad classification. That broad classifications based on the sattva, rajas, tamas is where they have created this 4 varnas. Now, varna means varnashrama, they say. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These are the 4 varnas. Right. Now, on what basis this was classified, sir? This classification exists so long as humanity exists. Right? As long as there is one human exists in the world with thoughts, this will exist. This Varna is 4. Now remember, Varna is different, Jati is different. Now what we are talking today in terms of caste system and all those things, criticizing, all that is more to do with the Jati problem, not the Varna problem. Because Varna is fixed, only 4. And Varna's fixation is not based on your birth. Okay. Nowhere we have the reference that by birth you belong to this Varna. If at all there is a reference, there is only one reference we have in the scripture stating by birth everybody is a Shudra. You see, that's what it is. Now, see this. Now, again, I'm not giving this as a specific reference, please, but this is only given to you for some reference point. That's all. Not like to be taken in terms of your this one. The 4 Varnas were classified based on the gunas. Like we have the classification for education, distinction, and you have first class, then you have second class, then you have third class, pass, and then fail. There is a mark there, no, for everything. Similarly, this is also classified based on the percentage of that sattva, rajas, tamas content in a person. Now, there is a person who has 80% sattva, 15% rajas, 5% tamas. Again, go back to the definition. What is sattva? Peaceful, dynamic, mature, objective. That is sattva. 80% he is like that. 15% what is it, sir? Agitation. There is X amount of agitation in him. And tamas is what? Laziness is there. Indifference is there. 5% indifference is there. That person, one category. That is referred. The name given for that is called a Brahmana. You can say again, A, B, C, D again. Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. Whatever way you want to call, you call. We don't care about the words. Then you have another category where the sattva drops. There's a big drop of sattva. Rajas, good pickup. Tamas also reasonably picked up more. Wherein this 35% sattva, 50% rajas, 15% tamas. They are known as Kshatriyas. Then you have a Vaishya. Sattva further drops. Rajas picks up. Tamas almost maintains the same. Now, strictly speaking, we need to increase that also. Actually speaking, tamas also increases. Rajas drops also. In fact, it should be like this. It should be 60, 25. 15, 60, 25. That should be the equation there. It is being, presented in a... That would be a better way of presenting. So here, Vaishya, when you see, you can change it as 15% sattva, 60% rajas, and tamas 25%. That is the state. Then Shudra is a person where you have 5% only sattva. 10% rajas, 85% tamas. That is called a Shudra. Means lazy, tamasic person. This is the one. Now remember, this classification is not to tell people in a derogatory manner, please. Right? It's nothing to do with derogatory things. It is to do with saying the cancer is in the fourth stage. Now, when the cancer is in the fourth stage, it is the job of the doctor to tell the patient the cancer is in the fourth stage. Now, you can't get angry with the doctor. No point in getting angry with him. Now, that is what your state. These scriptures only show the mirror to you. That's about it. They are not saying you are that. What you have only they say. There's no point in fighting with a diagnostic center stating, how dare you say I have got corona? They say, you have, man, I'm telling you. Now, if you are not having, why I am going to tell you? No, I am not creating that, please. It is only the classification is made to give a general pattern for them to live in a particular way, what they can do to evolve from there. You see, now each one of them have to strive to move towards Transattva. That is the idea based on which the classification was created. And then karma was recommended for those people, which is natural for them to take up. A person who is highly objective, poised, you can't ask him to go and do a physical labor. It is not possible for him. You see, he can do research work, but he can't do this. Like we have seen, we have heard, I suppose, Einstein did not know he had a fight with the bus conductor for a change. Einstein made a mistake of calculation, but the bus conductor made the right calculation. Einstein made a wrong calculation, they say. And then finally Einstein said, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, correct, you are right. The bus conductor gave the change properly to him. But he made a mistake. That doesn't mean Einstein is useless. He doesn't know how to make calculations. You can't say that, please. It doesn't work that way. Logically speaking, it may appear like that. But in life, it doesn't work in that manner. Those who are designed for research, those who are designed for inquiry, those who are designed for creative, they have to do creative job. Like Michael Schumacher cannot say, I am the one who's driving, therefore I will do the designing of Formula 1 car. Nor can the fellow, the chief of the team who created that Formula 1 car new design, can say, I am the one who designed it, therefore I will be the one who will be driving the car. It's not possible, please. Now the fellow who can do that has to do that. Michael Schumacher alone can drive this car. Now you can't ask that fellow to do this fellow to do that. It won't work. Same way, we need to understand this. Now, based on that natural inclination they have a leaning towards certain things because of their temperament. That temperamentally they are designed for certain things. You see, leadership is not temperamentally designed for this fellow. A Brahmin cannot be a leader. It won't work. You have a lot of stories are there available in the Puranas to prove this point. There's so much of anarchy came into picture when the Brahmins started ruling the country. Then they themselves said, I made a mistake, man, sorry, we are not supposed to do it. So therefore what to do, sir? They went back and gave it to the Kshatriyas to rule. They said, we are not designed for it. Similarly, business. A Kshatriya cannot do business. Only a Vaishya knows how to do business. Why is that? They have that inclination towards it. Now, when we say this, there are certain exceptions. We have to remember that always. Like I say, there is one connection I had with Ramanujam, mathematics. I was told that once he was given 0 marks in mathematics. I also got 0 in mathematics. In 12th standard. This revision exams we have, no? In those days we used to have revision exams before. Now they call it as pre-boards. We used to call it as revision exams. The first revision exam we had, I scored 0 in that. Then I came out with a paper and said, now I can say me and Ramanujam are same. Now that doesn't mean anything for Ramanujam, please. That doesn't mean anything for me also. Now, just because there are, similarly, whenever we see a person who had scored 74 and a person who had scored 75.2, that 75.2 will be called as what, sir? Distinction. 74.7 will be called as first class. What's the difference? The difference is just that 0.5%. Now, can you make out any difference? But definitely you can make out a difference between the student who had scored 75 to a student who had scored 97. Is it not? There is a difference, no? That difference you can see. Very easy that is. The student who is scoring 97 is different from the student who is scoring even 85. 85 to 97, you can clearly see the difference between those two students. Similarly, 97 and 100, there is a difference. You see, same way, but can you see that? It's not so easy to recognize. Sometimes it's like, number 1 and tennis and number 2. What is the difference? Federer and Nadal, what is the difference? Djokovic and Federer, what can you say as the difference? Now, as a layman, you don't know anything. You see, you can't distinguish. As far as you are concerned, they are all playing good. That's all. We can't make out the difference. Remember, even though there is a classification, there is a overlapping. And you can't take that overlapping things as a rule. That's an exception. For every rule, there is an exception. You can never have a rule without an exception. That's why in Sanskrit grammar, they say it's such a complicated language because the rules are less, exceptions are more. In other grammars, rules are more, exceptions are less. Sanskrit is a peculiar language. They say exceptions are more here. Similarly, these people say there are 4 broad classifications, but however, you cannot say one is superior, one is inferior. There is no difference here. Because the reference point is not sattva. The reference point is what? Remember that. Don't ever forget that, please. If you forget that, the whole thing will get confused. The reference point is guna atita. Ask a simple question. What is the gap between 1,000 and 10 lakhs? How far is a person who is in 1,000 rupees and 10 lakhs? What is the gap between a person who is having 10 lakhs with 100 crores? What is the gap between 100 crores to 5,000 crores? 1,000 rupees business. Business investment is only 1,000 rupees for him. That Pani Puri wala. Yeah, 1,000 rupees if I have, I'll do business here. Correct. Then the fellow says 10 lakhs. Then there is another person who says 100 crores. Another fellow who says 5,000 crores. What is the gap? You see the gap, no? Okay. Now my question is, how much is the distance between infinity to all these people. Who is closer to infinity? What is the answer you will give? Now, if I say, who is closer to 10,000 crores, what is the answer you will give? Hey, 5,000 crores has a better chance of reaching to 10,000 crores. Correct? My question is not that. My question is, what is the distance between 1 and 5,000 crores to infinity? To infinity, both are equidistanced. They are as close and as far as the other person. Remember, for us, for these people, the guna atita, transcendence of the gunas is the reference point. Incidentally, for that, promotion of sattva is favorable and possible for human mind because it cannot take that agitations. That is the reason why they had said sattva to be better. That's about it. But with reference to gunatita, it is not that Brahmin has a better chance to reach there quicker, because gunatita, enlightenment is infinite. Now 80% sattva has a closer opportunity than 5%. There is no such thing, please. Both are equidistant with reference to enlightenment. If you understand that, there is no problem at all. There is neither superior nor inferior. Unfortunately, there is a huge gap. In that gap, people forgot the purpose and what are they supposed to focus and what are they supposed to do. As a result, a beautiful system, beautiful methodology, beautiful idea which they had evolved got deteriorated, and today it is in a chaotic state. But nevertheless, what we have to understand is the system's purpose is that. I'm not saying from today revive that back and all those things, please. You can't go back. That is not possible. But you can understand that idea is wherever you are, you have to move towards sattva guna more and more and more. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you.